Well, hello. My name is Isabella Akinseye, and welcome to A Few Pages with me right here on Correct Student. Today we'll be reading The Flute, a children's story by Chinua Achebe. So get comfortable and let's dig into a few pages of this lovely children's picture book. Long, long ago, there was a man who had two wives. The senior wife had many children, but the other had only one son. One day, as the season of the rains drew near, the man and his family set out to work on their farm. They left their home at the first light of dawn because they had a long journey ahead of them. Their farm was at the boundary between the land of men and of spirits. They got there at last and worked hard and long planting their yams. But as evening approached, the man looked up constantly to watch the sun's position in the sky. He looked up one last time and called out to his family to get their things quickly together and ready to take home. They gathered their hoes and machetes and baskets together and hurried away because they knew that soon darkness would descend and the spirits would come out to work on their own yam fields. They passed 7 forests and crossed 7 rivers and returned to their home. It was then that the only son of the man's younger wife discovered that he had forgotten his flute in the farm. This flute was the only thing he could call his own. He had made it himself from a bamboo stalk. He rose up with great sadness and said he was going back to the farm in search of his flute. His mother begged him in tears not to go and promised to buy him a new flute on the next market day. But the boy did not want a gift flute in place of the one he had made with his own hands. His father pleaded with him at first, gently, and then in anger for his stubbornness. When father and mother found they could not move him, they let him go. He crossed the 7 rivers and the 7 wilds and came at last to the farm. And surely the spirits were there, bent over their work, planting ghost yams. At the boy's approach, they all straightened up and regarded him with anger in their eyes. Fear froze the boy where he stood. Everywhere was silence. And then the leader of the spirits spoke. His voice was like dry bark of thunder through a throat of iron. Ta! Human boy, who sent you here? What are you looking for? Foolish fly that follows the corpse into the ground. Did nobody tell you that we are abroad at this time? Answer me at once. I have only one flute in the world, said the boy gently but boldly, and I forgot it under that dead tree over there. I did not mean to offend you, but only to take back my flute. I have only one flute in the world, said the boy gently but boldly, and I forgot it under that dead tree over there. I did not mean to offend you, but only to take back my flute. Flute? Tell me, will you recognize this flute of yours if you see it, human boy? The boy said, yes. Then the spirit reached into his goatskin bag and brought out a flute shining like gold. Is this it? The boy shook his head. Now, what about this? He held up another flute shining like the kernel of the water of heaven. The boy said, No, and shook his head. Finally, the chief of the spirits brought out a miserable-looking bamboo flute, and before he could ask, the boy jumped up and down with joy and said, "That's my flute!" The spirit said, "All right, take it and blow for us." And this was the song the boy blew on his flute. Chief of spirits undisputed, Lord by night of this estate, Father told me death awaited all who wandered here so late. Please, my son, please, wait till morning, cried my mother, but her warning fell unheeded. How could I contain myself and sleep till dawn when my flute beneath the sky lay forsaken and forlorn? The spirits were delighted with the boy's playing, and they laughed, ha, 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 through their noses. We like your playing, said the leader to the boy. But tell me something, little boy. Did your mother not promise to buy you a new flute from the market? She did, said the boy, and he lowered his gaze to the ground. There was silence for a while, and then he looked up and spoke again. I do not want to be given things. I like to make things. I made this flute. You shouldn't have disobeyed your mother and your father, said the chief of the spirits. But we forgive you because we like your spirit, and because we like you, we will make you a present for your parents. He made a sign with his left hand, and two youngster spirits brought forward two pots, one large and the other small, and both firmly sealed. Take one of these, he said, and the boy took the smaller pot. The spirits nodded to one another in satisfaction. Go well, said their leader to the boy. When you reach home, call your mother and your father and break the pot before them. The boy thanked him and set out for home. If you hear doom, doom on your way, the chief of the spirits called out to him, run into the bush. But if you hear jam, jam, come back to the road. On his way, the boy heard doom, doom, and hid in the bush. Then he heard jam, jam, and came out again and continued his journey. He passed the 7 rivers and the 7 forests and reached his father's compound. I really wonder what happened when he got home. What was inside that pot? Your guess is as good as mine, and that's why I encourage you to get a copy of this book, The Flute, a children's story by Chinua Achebe, and find out for yourself. My name is Isabella Akinseye, and I encourage you to read a few pages, and then a few pages, and then a few pages, and before you know it, you've read the entire book, and one book becomes 2 books and 3 books, and then you have a library of books. Till I see you in my next video, keep learning and keep reading. Bye-bye.